Hey guys, it's Cameron again, and Novels and Nonsense just posted a great video about her favorite classic films, and I haven't made a video about movies in a while, so I was going to do, I guess you could say, a little bit of a video response to her video, just talking about my favorite classic films. So when I grew up, my parents weren't really into classic movies, so it wasn't introduced to me by them as much. My dad did kind of show me the basic Universal monster movies, and that kind of sparked my interest. So then when I got a little older, I kind of delved into the rest of classic films. So a lot of the movies on this list are from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. I don't think I have any movies from the 60s on here, maybe the early 60s. I also have a couple of silent films, as I like those a lot too. Number one, I have to mention right off the bat, since this is what got me into classic movies in the first place, is all the Universal monster movies. Now, I can't really choose favorites. If I had to choose one, I would say Creature from the Black Lagoon, just because he's so cool. But I love all the other movies as well. I love Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. They're all great. They're so richly gothic, and the cinematography and the makeup and everything just combines this other world. And I just love watching those movies and being transported to this gothic kind of setting. Another one of my all-time favorite classic movies is Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Now, I am a huge Hitchcock fan. I've seen almost every single one of his movies. Love his movies to death, but Psycho, as cliche as it sounds, is my favorite movie of his ever. Of course, when I saw it as a kid, I already knew what was going to happen. Popular culture kind of spoiled it for me, but it's still just such a great movie. I've seen it dozens of times, and I continue to find new things that I didn't notice before within the movie. The next movie is All About Eve, which is from the year 1950. It stars the incredible Bette Davis, as well as a small cameo by Marilyn Monroe. It is basically the story of a young actress who is played by Anne Baxter, and she inserts herself to the company of these other actors and actresses. After that, the heads just butt, and there is a lot of jealousy and drama. The next one is another Hitchcock film. It is called The Lodger from 1927. It is a silent film. It is one of Hitchcock's British films from way early on, before he did any of the movies that we know as classics today. Even though it's an early film and Hitchcock was just really starting to get into the groove of his craft, it is a great movie, and it's very suspenseful. It takes place in London, and there are a lot of women who are being mysteriously killed in the streets. It kind of has a Jack the Ripper kind of vibe to it. And there is this landlady who suspects her new lodger as the killer. What starts off as a lot of romance between the two leads to a lot of suspicion, and it's just a great movie. Very well done, very suspenseful. Another one of my favorites is The Magician from 1958. It is directed by Ingmar Bergman, so I believe it's a German film. I'm not completely sure about that. It's a very strange, very different kind of movie. It is about a theater that comes to town. They seem to be a band of gypsies, but you're not too sure on that when it first starts. And in the act, there is a magician, and the townspeople are very skeptical, very scientific people, and they decide to kind of debunk everything that this traveling theater is doing in their show. And they want to expose these people as charlatans. It's just a very atmospheric movie. It's very, very moody, very gothic. There's a very subtle kind of magic about it, and it's just amazing. The next one, of course, is the classic Metropolis, which is a silent film from the 1920s. It is directed by Fritz Lang, and it is just a great German expressionist kind of science fiction film. I don't think I have to explain the plot of this movie too much, because I think just about everybody has heard about it. It's great. If you haven't seen it, you should. The next classic movie I'm going to be talking about is To Kill a Mockingbird, which, of course, the book To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee is one of my favorite books of all time. I was very saddened to hear about Harper Lee's passing the other day. It's very sad, but you know, she lived a great life and she left a wonderful legacy behind. But of course, the movie To Kill a Mockingbird is just as great as the book. The next one is one of my all-time favorites, and it stars James Dean and Natalie Wood. It is called, of course, Rebel Without a Cause. It is just the ultimate classic movie about teen angst, and while it may be a little bit outdated now, I think it's still pretty relevant in terms of the feelings it represents. James Dean is my favorite actor of all time, and I think it's very sad that he was only able to do 3 movies before he died, but you know, there were 3 amazing movies. His other movies are great too. You guys know I love horror films, so the next one is House on Haunted Hill, starring Vincent Price, and it's directed by William Castle. This is a movie that I saw when I was, I think, 9 or 10 years old. When I put it in, I was expecting something like the Universal monster movies. I wasn't expecting anything very scary, but this movie scared the crap out of me. I won't spoil any of the scares in the movie for people who haven't seen it, but it got me. It got me really good. If you have seen the movie, you know exactly which scenes I'm talking about, especially that one. It's very cheesy, very gimmicky, like it's the ultimate cheese, but it is very, very effective. The next one is a comedy, and it is called Some Like It Hot, which stars Marilyn Monroe. It is about two musicians who are friends and they witness a murder, so they decide to dress up as women and go on this train in this big women's band tour, I believe. So they are hiding out as women among all these women, and it's just hilarious. So those are just a few of my favorite classic films. Now, I have seen literally hundreds of classic movies, and I have plenty of favorites. These were just the few that I could think of off the top of my head. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and a big thank you to Novels and Nonsense for making such a great video and for giving me the idea to do this one. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.